दोस्ती हंसी खून कौन. सो बग्स का ये था कि हम लोग एडवर्टाइजिंग से हैं, वी हैव टू ग्रैब द ऑडियंस. वो तो और हमारा इंस्टा वर्ल्ड में जो है, it's even more important to grab them early. We were lucky in that sometimes you don't always get your wish list of cast. You know, it's even अगर we करना भी है, but dates are clashing. I have always believed that creative work happens best when there are two people.
The filtering down of problem has a strategic solution. There's an analysis, there's a strategic solution. Then it filters down to 3 or 4 words. And every time you got to do this process. It doesn't just come to you, today I'll make a reel, today I'll make an ad, today I'll do this. No, where's the analysis?
I mean, we bring out one Amul ad every 2 days. There are certain periods where nothing seems to be happening.
नमस्कार, आप देख रहे हैं गलाटा इंडिया और मेरा नाम है अविनाश पाल. कहते हैं हर पेशा के, हर नौकरी के अपने कुछ प्रोज एंड कॉन्स होते हैं. बतौर एंटरटेनमेंट जर्नलिस्ट और फिल्म क्रिटिक मेरे को सबसे बड़ा फायदा ये होता है कि बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स, फिल्म टीजर, सॉन्ग्स वगैरह वगैरह हम रिलीज से पहले देख लेते हैं. मैंने कुछ देर पहले देखा है 16 मई को रिलीज हो रही है फिल्म पुणे हाईवे का ट्रेलर. मैं पर्सनली काफी ज्यादा एक्साइटेड हूँ. और फिल्म में क्या कुछ खास है इसके लिए मेरे साथ इसके क्रिएटिव लोग मौजूद हैं. मेरे साथ है राहुल एंड बग्स.
How are you?
आई एम वेरी गुड. ट्रेलर में एक लाइन आती है, दोस्ती हंसी खून, जो रिपीट होता रहता है. क्या है ये? थोड़ा सा बताएंगे फिल्म के बारे में, इस ट्रेलर के बारे में, कास्टिंग के बारे में.
So many questions.
Lovely
We'll take one
question.
each.
Yeah, you go for it. Yeah.
So the thing you first asked about दोस्ती हंसी खून कौन. So bugs का ये था कि हम लोग एडवर्टाइजिंग से हैं. He's also a filmmaker. This is my first film. But the audience जो भी है, अगर पेंटिंग हो या कविता हो या किताब हो या फिल्म हो या थिएटर हो, you have to grab the audience. वो तो और हमारा इंस्टा वर्ल्ड में जो है, it's even more important to grab them early. And if you don't grab them early, you've lost them. And more so with OTT, I have the option of stopping.
Correct.
Cinemas में still people have spent the money.
They'll stay, at least they'll wait to end.
They'll wait
Correct.
till this thing. So the question is, there are so many films being released today. हर फ्राइडे में 3-4 रिलीज है. बॉलीवुड है, हॉलीवुड है, टॉलीवुड है, मॉलीवुड है. So Bugs' point is that what have we learned from advertising as to taglines, instant messaging, and not that you want to compromise नहीं है. It's not like you make a film that is only for the masses in terms of easy messaging. But your the poster and your trailer, if you don't get those two right, however good your film is, you won't get the audience. And I think we're blessed in that we've learned in 30 years. And so Bugs' point was कि हमारा फिल्म का themes क्या है? दोस्ती, खून, and who's the killer. But let's not lose कि हंसी भी है. Because ये today everything is a genre. Rom-com now there's a rom-com with something and it becomes a long. Ours is a relationship murder mystery. But it's funny, and because films tend to be one or the other. And so he said, we got to put hasi in there. And so those have now become the tagline. And I think we're hoping that it kind of gets catchy and everyone's talked about it. So hopefully...
Yeah, everyone has seen it since yesterday. So basically our trailer is, पहले वो telegram होती थी. We used to send telegram. Yeah, मैं आ रहा हूँ या मैं मर गया हूँ, whatever, what the hell it is, So now the telegram
mother serious.
Yeah. So telegram बंद होगी, but we decided to send our audience a telegram in the form of a teaser. So it's easy to remember, it's urgent, and it provokes action. And the action we're saying is come to the cinema and see what this telegram is about.
Then also, Avinash, years and years and years of watching films and years and years and years of watching trailers more than anything, because a trailer tells you see it or don't see it. More and more, I think, even though we are getting more and more insta-real-like in our thinking, we're getting into over-messaging also. So I think what happens in a normal trailer is the full story is told to you. Trailer mein. So why see the film?
Correct.
So again, Bugs' thinking was let's create a teaser trailer. So the audience just hears enough to intrigue them. Otherwise, come to the theater and see it. No, you don't want to. So I think that is something that most films, well, not, I'm not being arrogant here, but many films give you dialogue from the film. They give you so
अब तो
many.
5-5 मिनट के ट्रेलर आ रहे हैं पूरे फिल्मी हो जाती है.
And it's never enough because it's not quite enough because you're hearing dialogue and there's no context. But ये 4 शब्द है ना, I think sums up the
and
film.
set to that music.
हाँ
The music is yeah. That music was.
So हमारा शौक रॉक म्यूजिक है. तो
कास्टिंग कैसे हुई? लिखते हुए ही जहन में लोग थे क्योंकि प्ले से फिल्म बना है. प्ले ऑलरेडी बहुत हिट रहा है, अलग अलग देशों में इसका ऑडियंस ने पसंद किया है. कैसे कास्टिंग हुई when you were converting it into a film?
As we were writing, Rahul and I discussed Amit's because Amit had worked. I'd worked with Amit earlier in Barot House.
Correct, हाँ.
And with Manjari. So they're good actors, and we wanted to on the set have friends rather than have new relationships. You know, Jim is from the theatre and a very desirable actor. So we had Jim in mind. So everyone in the cast was somebody we had in mind, and we got them. So nobody has said, except that one girl who we had to replace Ketki with, we didn't have one casting that fell through. So we got each of the actors that we wanted. They all said yes. And so that's how the casting happened. Anubhav is a case. Anubhav Pal. But he wanted to...
So in the play, this gentleman was in the play.
Okay.
He plays Anubhav's
character.
character. So we got these two, and then my question to him was, you played the character in the play, so you must decide who's going to do it in the film. And he thought of Anubhav because Anubhav he's a writer, intelligent, he's a stand-up comedian. So this character provides some part of the humor in the film. And so when we first asked him, we said, we want to talk to you. He thought we wanted him as co-writer. When we said co-writer, nahi, actor chahiye. He was completely, he asked me, are you guys serious? He said, yeah, because the camera never lies. It'll show you. And so I think we were lucky in that sometimes you don't always get your wish list of cast. You know, it's even agar we karna bhi hai, but dates are clashing. And ours was a very tight schedule. You know.
कितने दिन में शूट हुआ पूरा? 40 दिन में.
40 दिन.
Okay.
November 20th, 22 to Jan 1st or 2nd, literally in that period. But you were lucky because these guys are busy as hell, yeah, you know.
Agree.
But you managed to.
As a critic, I want to know something. आपने करीब 3 दशक दिए हैं क्रिएटिव फील्ड में. As a debutant director, इतना वक्त क्यों ले लिया आने के लिए? And whatever work you guys have done, that's a sort of milestone. Everyone talks about those advertisements, the way everything worked. तो इतना वक्त क्यों लग गया बताओ डायरेक्टर आने के लिए?
I don't know, man. But because he was always after me. कि फिल्म बनाओ और ये प्ले का फिल्म बनाओ. I was always happy in theatre, yeah. Whenever, but I have to admit that I think OTT has helped a lot because otherwise the pressure, the pre-OTT days, the pressure of getting your film onto a screen, there was a kind of ticking boxes, you know, does it have songs, does it have... For me, a film has always seemed to be, the story came last. Seemed. Somehow OTT gave us the license and gave, say, someone like myself who wanted to tell a story. It made content seriously into the king situation, you know, and I think I really do believe that streaming has helped an audience. COVID has helped a lot for audiences to focus, audiences to watch good cinema. And it's wonderful that world cinema, South cinema, our own writing, movie has all come together to make watching, it doesn't matter where you watch it. Because when people say people don't come to the cinemas, that's not true. You give them a great film, they'll come.
Obviously.
They will come.
Agree.
They will not say, let me wait for OTT. They will want to see it on a big screen. So I would have to say that so many years later it was fear, because that's a whole other medium, and the but Bugs was in my ear all the time for 20 years. We've got to make, got to make, got to make, got to make, got to make. And I think then he broke through, and now I'm not going back.
Perfect. करीब 40 साल की आप दोनों की दोस्ती है. When you are on set, you are making something together. Creative differences होते हैं या नहीं होते हैं? अगर होते हैं तो how you guys manage it?
No creative differences. Because it's all decided. Rahul, why you want to take this up?
Yeah, see, I realized one thing, that I have always believed that creative work happens best when there are two people. I've always believed that. And even if it's not a Coen brothers situation where you have two brothers who are making it, the reason that a Clint Eastwood is on his own, but his DOP is always the same. Over here, Martin Scorsese, these guys, why has he worked with Robert De Niro in film after film after film? Because he wants collaborators with whom he can have differences. But at the end of the day, the goal is the same.
To make something amazing.
To make something amazing, and that the project is new, but the way you go there is the same. So Bugs and I, before we made this film, have worked in advertising extensively. We've done theatre together extensively. We're very close friends. So I always knew that I don't know enough about film in this first one, but I know that I wanted to make a film. I know that the play was mine. So it was a wonderful collaboration because he was in the play. The play was mine. We evolved the play. We know that a play is limiting in location. Film has to open it out. So all the elements were there. It's not like it was a new project. I mean, the characters are the same from the play. So I think it was very, in fact, it's been when you think about it, filmmaking, it's not over when it's over, because it's where you're collaborating on the teaser, you're collaborating on the music videos. It's a non-ending creative process. The film is only one part of it. So because of the discussions and we discuss the film all the time. So you got to have trust here. You've got to have trust. You got to have trust. You can't have ego.
Yeah.
You got to be able to say, when I say, look, what do you think? And when Bug says, I don't think so, I cannot feel, he's saying no to me, I'm going to fight. He's saying no for a reason, and we'll talk about it.
And then I'll say him the other way.
And also, what happened a lot was that, let us say he said something that he didn't feel. It's not that he's not going away thinking about it. And next morning come back and say, listen, what I said, you may have a point, but so there's a constant feeling of what I always say, 1 + 1 = 3. And I don't know how people, when they say that you work alone, you don't work alone, not in a movie. Not a playwright, as a playwright is a lonely business, writing alone. But in a movie, oh my God, you can't tell where a music director may have a point, an editor may have a point. I realize how much editing becomes critical to this is not just because of the way the person cuts it, but the music reference. The music reference that an editor gives you, I can't tell you the kind of, because he's cutting it not as a visual, he's cutting it with a mood. And he's cutting it based on what do I feel is the music that goes with it. Now, how do you give credit to that? But he's heard us talk, he's seen what kind of cutting we want. So the team is critical. Yeah. I really do believe that film is it's a teamwork. Yeah. And every time I hear that, somebody says, I like him because he knows what he wants. I think about that because sure he knows what he wants because one person calls the shots. But if he's saying no to everybody else, that means he's not taking on board what a whole bunch of creative people, and each person is coming at this film with their A game. Who you collect is critical. Your team is, and I now know in the next film going forward that this bunch of people that we worked with is phenomenal because now we know each other. Now we know what kind of what does a background score really mean? When is there silence? when is there a crescendo, you know, what is the correct color, what is the font you use, like that font we use for those it's a choice. So it's, yeah man, it's not just us, you know, it's I mean, the two of us are blessed in that we could work together, but he's also directed on his own. So there's that. I won't direct alone because I don't know if I know how to. And it's so complex because, I mean, you know, one of the things that we've always talked about is how do you direct with 101 things happening at the same time? Just think about it, okay? The one thing I always say is, as a producer, we know that we're shooting through December, right? We take an 8-hour shift outdoor, but how do we predict कि आज 8 बजे we thought we can shoot till, but 6 बजे the light is gone.
Or maybe any other reason.
Any
It
other
can happen,
reason.
correct.
Any other
The generator's gone.
हाँ.
The power goes. It starts to rain. Actor gets sick. People are stuck in traffic.
You still got the same amount of money.
Same amount of money and same amount of time.
days.
You can't really go up.
So
the crises that when directors direct alone, I marvel, man. I really say, how do you manage to? But that's where so co-direction to me is like non-negotiable. Yeah.
Can't agree more. Like every word you have said, it's perfectly said. As a creative person, अगर मैंने आप लोगों के एडवर्टीजमेंट के बारे में बात नहीं करी तो मेरी ऑडियंस मेरे को माफ नहीं करेगी. हाउ एडवर्टीजमेंट वर्ल्ड हैज चेंज्ड. जो अमूल का जो पूरा एड कैंपेन था, हाउ दैट वर्कड, जो टैगलाइन आपने थम्स अप के लिए क्रिएट करी, हाउ दैट लाइक हैड हैपेंड. थोड़ा सा इफ यू कैन टॉक अबाउट इट.
Amul.
So the advertising has changed. It's changed a lot. And the one thing that bothers me is that ideas, I think, have been replaced by celebrities. I feel that the rigor, that thing that the dosti hasi khoon khan, that feeling, the taste the thunder, the utterly delicious, those strong ideas or those strong jingles that used to be written years ago, do you remember till today?
Correct.
And we're such a song sensitive country. I wonder why we've gone away from classic dialogue. I mean, it's the same, right? Great dialogue is great taglines. Great taglines are great jingles. I think in our quest for instant gratification, we've lost gravitas.
We've lost the core.
We still have the core, but we're looking for easy answers. We're looking for, because rigor is rigor in anything you do. I mean, I love art, right? I love paint. I'm an art collector. You look at paintings, you realize how much work has gone into that. And you can tell when a painter's taken like 1 week to finish a painting. It shows. Or a book. Bugs is a prolific writer and reader. When in a book, you know that a book has been through several drafts. You can tell when a film has been through one draft, when it's been through 100 drafts, you know. And I feel that because of an Insta situation, talent isn't everything anymore. I feel anybody feels they can write a book now. Anybody feels they can make a movie. Anybody feels that they can write a poem. Anybody feels they can do an ad.
Make an ad.
So we've lost when people tell me, oh, this book of mine took a long time. I said, yeah, how long? 3 months. I said, so how long did the last book take? No, that was 1 month. I was able to knock it off. But you know how it is, the pressures. And that's just non-negotiable, yeah. You know, music. You just take music. The days when people wrote 18 songs to cover 2 sides. Today, because of Bluetooth or whatever, 1 song is enough. And I'm a one-hit wonder, you know. So I think we judge success too quickly today. And everybody's a genius. You know, today you say, wow, this genius photographer. You're thinking you're not a genius photographer, you know. But we become too satisfied too early. So rigor. I think that when Bugs and I come from a world where our bosses, we're both copywriters by profession. But years ago, we were made to write and rewrite and rewrite and rewrite copy that we wrote, went into dustbins. Today, you look at some of their writing and you think nobody's been through the rigor of writing. Copywriting was an English art form. You look at, even in journalism today, you look at copy, edited copy, there are mistakes, there are typos. So that bindas attitude.
The filtering down of problem has a strategic solution. There's an analysis, there's a strategic solution. Then it filters down to 3 or 4 words that are supposed to be the stimulus for a consumer action. Look how beautifully that pathway is. And you got to practice this pathway again and again. Even like it's a spiritual practice almost. Because you got to lose yourself in the process. And every time you got to do this process. It doesn't just come to you, today I'll make a reel, today I'll make an ad, today I'll do this. No, where's the analysis? What's the problem you're solving? How does somebody else solve the problem? You can't have the same solution because then you become me too. Me too as in the, in advertising, when you say me too, 2 products trying to be the same thing.
Same
Copying
features.
almost.
Copying each other.
And the same features.
Same
So
features.
You have to find,
So you got to find that, find that pathway, and that is frankly is rigor and training. And I hope we go back to it. I know the engineers are doing it, and the technical side, they're really doing it. In the advertising side and in the creative side, it's got to become a part of who we are. Personally, doesn't have to be a thing. Personally, we got to put our nose to the grindstone and keep at it. Is this really the quality that I want, that I stand for? And things are becoming easier. Your chat GPT and your this and that and the other, So I think writers should avoid that. I mean, use it for whatever research and everything. But when you're writing, let it be you. When you're making a picture, let it be you. Put yourself in it, So I don't know where the world's going to go, but we're 2 old guys from another world, trying to.
But we need these things as an audience. We really need these things.
so.
He said, वो टाइम वापस आए. आखिरी सवाल आपसे एकदम आसान भाषा में, शब्दों में समझना चाहूँगा. जो टैगलाइन होता है या जो जिंगल होता है, हाउ इट वर्क्स एक्चुअली. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, टेस्ट द थंडर. यू हैव गिवन द टैगलाइन एंड इट्स स्टिल वर्किंग. जो उसका क्रेडिट होता है या जो उसका पैसा होता है, जो उसकी वैल्यू होती है, वो वन टाइम पेमेंट होता है या जब तक वो चलेगा यू विल कीप ऑन गेटिंग इट?
नो, एक्चुअली ये हमारे इंडस्ट्री में ऐसा सोच ही नहीं आया. So I probably made a lot of people very rich with Taste the Thunder, but it never came to me. But the satisfaction of writing a line like that is still with me.
Correct.
And the way I wrote it was, my friend Ashok Kurian got the business, and he said, "Bug, give me a campaign. We need to do something." I said, yeah. And I went to Bangalore, and next day was my presentation to him. So I was sitting at the Bangalore airport, and I still didn't have an idea, but I knew what they wanted to say. They were talking, the analysis was about applause and being number one and, and everything, the stronger taste of thumbs up and everything. So then I was sitting at the thing and I was drinking a thumbs up, trying to see, and I drank it, and, then you get that strong burp when you drink a thumbs up. And Bangalore had a storm going on, and there was thunder.
Oh.
So on that napkin, I wrote Taste the Thunder. And I took the same napkin to Ashok Kurian next day and said, "What do you think?" And only Ashok Kurian would have bought that line. He looked at it and says, "Fantastic, give me a hug," and all that. Then we did the campaign and went. That was the creation of Taste the Thunder. Everything, nature, my own state of mind, everything came into one place, into the correct place, and created the line. And of course, they did pay me. I'm not saying they didn't pay me. But the money in advertising, you don't get rewarded for that. The idea, the reward is creating the line and whatever money you get. The big money is for people who've invested, taken the risk, made the product, so that's it.
Last question of the conversation.
चलो,
क्रिएटिव ब्लॉक्स कैसे मैनेज करते हो? होते होंगे obviously.
I don't have it.
yeah.
I don't know why. I've
Okay.
never had it. Never.
It's
Never.
great.
Because I think you're continuously, like, the earth never has a creative block. It'll always keep growing something. It may take a season, but it'll grow it. it'll continue to grow like that. You have to stay continuously fertile. You got to, feed yourself. You got to write. You got to, rest. We do all the right things, you'll never be blocked. Never. And you can always write your way out of a block. Don't block your way out of a block. Saying, I can't write, so bed again. No, keep writing. Don't write what you're writing, write something else. Write a poem, write a song, Then you won't be in a block.
But you have to be at it.
At it.
I think it's a very good, there are days when, we bring out one Amul ad every 2 days. There are certain periods where nothing seems to be happening. And we're topical. But you have to think and you say, can I make something out of this? This seems like a small issue, but is there a market that will find it interesting? What is happening in the south at the moment? What is happening in the north at the moment? What is happening on the internet at the moment? I agree with Bugs. If you are at it all the time, your mind won't let you.
This is a very important question you've asked. I'm going to elaborate it a little more because for people who are watching,
Please.
it's a training thing. Like if you feel that you're blocked when you're creating something or writing something, look at somebody else's work and try and rewrite it, reorganize it, because they've had their idea. You're just in the reorganizing, your mind will start. So try and collage ideas together and make a third idea. So you'll never really be out of ideas because the world is full of ideas. We had a great guru called Alec Padamsee who said every idea is a collage of 2 ideas that already exist. So practice that every day. Take this idea, take that idea, put it together and say, what do I get? Oh boy, I got that. So it's every day you have to work at it. Like we spoke about actors having to work, like that writers have to work, creative people have to work. So there's no such thing as a block. That's my belief.
Thank you so much for the time. Like I do have so many other questions, but फिलहाल वक्त की कमी है. Next time whenever we meet, I'll definitely ask. And thank you so much and all the very best for Pune Highway.
Thank you.
I hope मैं उसकी success के बाद आप लोगों से दोबारा मिलूं.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.